You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Brandy Williams. On this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, we are still in the waters of Pisces, but that fire is rolling in with these planets going into the sign of Aries. We have Venus that retrograded in the sign of Aries last week, bringing us into a review and a possible reset on relationships, aesthetic, money, business, friendships. We're going to have Mercury go into the sign of Aries this week. So we'll get right into that March 2nd, Sunday. We have the Sun in Pisces square Jupiter in Gemini. So things are starting to move forward. There is a sense of an increased energy. Things are starting to feel more upbeat. That newness of spring, I feel like, is starting to bud in our energy. So we could already feel like we have multiple projects we want to take on, and spring cleaning, just a whole bunch of ideas coming up and things that we are wanting to partake in. And so when the Sun squares Jupiter, we do have the energy to get ahead in almost anything that we want to do. There is a sense of confidence, but on the shadow side, it could be overconfident. So we could feel really bombarded, or we could be putting a lot of stuff on our plates. We want to make quilts and clean up, and the next thing you know, we're just in a whole bunch of piles of things. And that is that Jupiter Sun taking on too many tasks, overextending ourselves, overcommitting, saying yes to too many things, being a little too generous and extravagant, and giving money that we didn't really account for. There's something that we could have overlooked when we decided to give that huge donation or tithe. So with Sun Jupiter, moderation is key because we can be tempted to do more than we can handle. Also, just really wanting to, just eager to get to the steps of something, taking action. Once we want to know all the steps, all the plans, all the facts, which can be frustrating because in a lot of respects, especially in Pisces season, we don't have all of the information, all of the steps yet. That is coming at the pace of the spiritual and not at our own hands, which can be frustrating for quick, fast moving energy like that Jupiter in Gemini. On the same day, March 2nd, we have Mercury conjunct the North Node at 28 degrees in the sign of Pisces. So that Sun in Pisces square to Jupiter in Gemini, like I said, could have us really ramped up and looking for answers, looking for the next step, talking to all the people, asking for advice. Who do I need to turn to really get the answers now to get to the next step of something? But Mercury conjunct the North Node in the final degrees of Pisces, so this is at 28 degrees. This is suggesting inner wisdom, that there are new ideas coming together from the spiritual realm and not from the external. So you want to be mindful in the pace that you're trying to keep up, trying to make something shake versus that Pisces need to surrender just a little bit. Not saying that you got to stop everything, but there's a little push and pull happening this week because the next step is coming to you, not in the material realm, but in the spiritual realm. When we take 2 steps towards that thing we want, the divine takes 2 steps towards us to collaborate with us. And I bet some of us are getting a glimpse of the path ahead and really seeing things come into view for us. Then later on that evening, Mercury moves forward and enters a conjunction with Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Prepare for the message towards the next step this week. But first, you got to shut up. You got to shut up. You got to calm down respectfully. You got to take a breath because you're not going to be able to hear it. That message from Neptune could be very subtle and definitely could be coming from the dream world. It could be coming from that time we took to meditate, write something down in the shower, but we gotta be quiet and disconnect and hang up the phone and just be in our own energy and quiet for just a little moment. 5 minutes, you might hear something. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you might hear something. So you want to pay attention to those dreams. This Pisces energy can have us wanting to escape because things can feel really overwhelming. but you want to still be mindful and kind of listening out to the intuition and just expecting to hear something, expecting to see something the next step. A lot of us are seeing angel numbers and really having these strange dreams. The dreams have been dreaming probably this whole Pisces season, but especially in the past week, I've been hearing some of my friends and family saying, like, I've been having dreams. And so those dreams are telling us a story and giving us direction. So we want to pay attention to that. There can be some significant imaginative works showing up in our intuition. So this is bursts of creativity, really profound thoughts that just seem to feel expansive and really aligned with what we're trying to do. But you want to just make sure that before you take action, because this Aries energy is strong, so we're wanting to empire and embark on new things. You want to pay extra attention to the details. Because Pisces energy is very dreamy, non-linear, and everything's moving fast on one end, but Mercury is about to enter its shadow period. It's getting ready to go retrograde next week. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to the details because we can end up missing things and end up having to go back to fix something. Then Monday, March 3rd, Mercury goes into the sign of Aries, and this is bringing another energetic shift. I feel like Mercury just went into Pisces, but Mercury was moving really fast. So it did. It was like 3 weeks. But now Mercury has come from its detriment of being very dreamy and nonlinear and losing the plot and just ethereal and in la la land and into the fire, into the bounds of Mars, ready to go, ready to take action, ready to fly. Damn this waiting. It's time to, it's time to get to it. Let's get to the thing. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the action. And so we can see an uptake in bold, direct, and assertive communication, mental clarity, and decisiveness. We could be feeling really determined to start something new, get something done, and the ability to act clearly, speak out, and speak up. So we could have an increased ability and courage and the gumptions and the galls to really want to air something out and address something. There could be something that we've been wanting to say to somebody, and that Aries energy is going to give you the fire to say it. Mercury in Aries can be the type of energy that speaks first and thinks later. So speaking too quickly, too harshly, acting before thinking things through, saying things before thinking things through, fighting words. And we want to not do that. Mercury is in his shadow period, preparing to station retrograde on the 15th in the same area of life that Venus is already in retrograde in the Aries part of life. So there is a deep review happening. There is some stuff coming up, probably some type of resentments or just something there needs to be some attention. Maybe somebody been playing with us a little too much, or not taking us seriously, or we may be tired of something happening in this Aries part of life. Wherever that is in your chart, everybody has an Aries part of life, even if you don't have planets there. But this is a time where we kind of want to hold our tongues a little bit. We want to hold back a little bit because we are in a review, and what will happen is we could end up saying something to somebody that we're going to regret, and nobody wants to feel regret. If we want to say something, we want to say it with our chest. But that Aries energy is, shoot first, make a list later type of energy. And you just really want to take a pause and take a full deep breath before you respond to anything or anyone. Double check that screenshot of a text message that you're about to send to somebody, because you could be sending it during this time to the person you're talking about. So, maybe not do that. Maybe not take a screenshot and send it to anybody, because that Mercury retrograde will have you making snafus like that. So yeah, consider not doing that, and let's just be really mindful of our delivery and how we talk to people when we're communicating, because we may have to eat some words and walk some things back. But sometimes when you say things, you can't unsay them. That is something we want to keep in mind. Today, Wednesday, March 5th, Mercury makes a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius, and this can be hidden truths discovered, lies in the media, like every day for the past couple of months, things being exposed, things coming to light. That's what that Pluto And Aquarius is all about how we are uncovering and pulling back the curtain and really excavating those things that have been hidden in government and in these structures and all the things. On a personal stage, individually, there can be some truths coming to the surface in our own lives, things being revealed, information being revealed to us. Some sort of revelation could be initiating new thoughts and ideas on how we want to move here on out. And there could be revelations about something or someone that we've been dealing with. So, once again, there will be another surge to want to take action, to want to address something, to want to air something out, to want to call somebody out on their stuff. But something is not the right move right now. Something is not, it's not the right time to say it, you know. And if you say it anyway, you will regret it because it's not going to come out in the way that you intended it to. Some people get caught in a crossfire if you take action on something or say something right now. So this is a time where we want to hold back. We want to hold our tongues and we want to think this thing through. You could possibly have a sounding board, a person who is a safe landing, a safe space to really get your words out of your head and just into the ethers. Somebody who's neutral so that you can have this deep, authentic and transformative conversation that could help you and lead you to some greater insights about something that we hadn't previously considered. Then on March 8th, the sun in Pisces will come into a trine with Mars in Cancer. Once again, there could be resentments coming back up. This is another indication that we could be feeling some type of way and really wanting to take action. We're tired of something. We're tired of somebody handling us in a type of way. This could be a maternal figure. This could be one of our kids. This could be another woman, a parent, aunt, coworker, somebody in authority. We're tired. We're tired of some shit, but we need to pause. We still need to pause and we need to pay attention to how we are feeling because resentments usually indicate that we're not prioritizing our own self-care and our own needs and desires. And we just came out of that review with Mars being retrograde in the sign of Cancer, really allowing us to take a look at how we are not prioritizing our own safety and our own self-care, how we are motivated to do things based on results or pleasing other people. And so we want to remember it is our responsibility to have our own wellness at the top of the list and not expect someone to give us something that we're not giving to ourselves or we're not advocating for ourselves. So you want to feel into something. What are you agreeing to? What are we agreeing to? Because I'm talking to me too. Just because I'm saying you don't mean I ain't talking to me. Let me tell y'all something. All the astrology forecasts that I end up speaking on is something I tend to go through directly. So when I say you, I'm talking about you too, Brandy. You too, girl. Yeah, it's our responsibility to have our own wellness and have our own back at the top of the list. So we want to feel into the things that we are agreeing to, the things that we are saying yes to, but we don't want to say yes to, the things that we don't want to do. We know it's not aligned, but there's some type of hidden motivation still lingering. And so, that's why we want to pause to see, like, what is that? What am I still trying to prove? Or what am I, how am I still trying to be the nice guy and the nice girl in some kind of way? And we want to pay attention to our drives and motivations. A lot of times we'll talk ourselves into something, talk ourselves out of something, and be pissed off at ourselves and other people because of it. But that is our responsibility to know ourselves well. And if we don't slow down, we won't be able to hear our bodies and our emotions speaking to us, because that anxiety and overwhelm and frustration has something to say. And so when we stop and we pay attention to it and we take our journals out and say, I'm listening to you, be our own sounding board and let those emotions speak to you because they have something to say. And it's usually going to be, a breadcrumb to something else that we definitely need to heal and reparent ourselves to let us ourselves know that we get to put our needs and wants at the top of the list, whether somebody likes it or not. So even though this Aries energy wants to forge ahead, we are still in Pisces season. We're still being asked to pause and practice surrender in a particular area. So that is all I have for the week. I do want to give a quick recap. We are kicking off eclipse season. We have our first lunar eclipse happening March 14th. And so eclipses always give us insights and revelations on new endings and beginnings. We have Venus still in retrograde. Mercury is going into retrograde next week. We are in review because something is unraveling, something is no longer working, something needs to go, it needs to change. And so we want to review and take inventory of what is changing. That change is already here, it's already in our awareness, but we want to also be slow to speak on it. We want to focus on how we feel. This is a process. I know sometimes we're like, you know what? I'm just going to rip the band-aid off, I'll cut somebody out. This is a process. So we're going to focus on how we feel. We want to slow things down just enough so that we can hear the voice of the divine, the voice of God, and to collaborate with our intuition. So that is all I have for this week. If you want to really get some insight of what's going on with you personally, trying to figure out why shit feels like it's all falling apart, also known as all falling into place, book a reading with me. I'll leave my booking information in the show notes. I will not be here next week. It is spring break. I'll be traveling, so there won't be a podcast episode next week. But maybe I'll do one when I get back because it's going to be some things happening next week with this energy. Or I might do one Monday. I don't know. We'll see. Because I do want to keep y'all abreast of the energies next week. Next week is going to be maybe possibly challenging and fiery, especially towards the end of the week with so many things taking place. But we're going to talk about it. And I'll leave my email address if you ever want to reach out and you need a neutral sounding board. I'm your girl. So until next time, I hope everyone has a great week, great spring break, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. You are listening to the Free Spirit Astrology Podcast.